So my story starts with the slip. We're going to start with the slip. What was that moment like at the time when it happened?
It was brutal and cruel for me. Probably the worst feeling I've ever had on a football pitch. You know, going back to when I first started as a kid. You know, it's very few times in my career where I've wanted the ground to swallow me up and just not be on the pitch at that time. You know, the only thing that kept me going was it was quite early in the game and there was still time to try and resurrect it, but there's no escaping it. And I think the reason why we've put it at the beginning of the book is because, you know, it's such a cruel moment and certainly one of the lows I've had in my career. You know, I want the book to be real and truthful and let the fans know how I felt at the time. It was a cruel time.
Champions League winner though, you've captained your country, you've been to World Cups, big competitions. Does any part of you worry that even if it's just a little bit, that might define your time as a footballer?
No, I don't think so. I think fans out there are knowledgeable enough, certainly people in the game are, to know that you know, your journey as a professional footballer is going to be full of highs and lows, and for me I've experienced both. You know, lifting the Champions League is obviously the pinnacle of my career and something I never ever dreamed of happening. And then obviously, you know, the slip's the opposite end of the scale. But you know, as a human, it helps you grow and makes you stronger, experiencing both ends of the scale. I don't think there's a footballer out there who doesn't experience some cruel moments throughout the career. The disappointing thing for me, it came at the end. So it is quite fresh in people's minds at the moment, but I think with time people will judge me over a 17-year period rather than one moment.
Pulsating season though, wasn't it, all round?
Yeah, it was an incredible journey. You know, looking back now from start to finish, you know, no one fancied us for the league at the beginning, and I think we got stronger and stronger as the campaign went on, and you know, we had Sturridge and Suarez in incredible form, scoring near enough every game, and we just got on this wave of confidence where we felt like we could beat most teams. And I think that inevitably done us in the end against Chelsea, because we turned up for that game and went into that game expecting us to blow Chelsea away, and Mourinho done us on the day tactically. So that was very disappointing. But yeah, I mean, it was an incredible campaign for everyone involved, and it was great to be a part of it.
What made you decide to end your time with Liverpool, and how difficult was that call? I guess a part of you might have wanted to think that you would end your time at Liverpool as a player. Yeah,
I think, you know, as the years gone by, as I've been coming along, going through my 20s, coming into my 30s, and you know, teams come in to try and sign you and you turn them down, and you know, you say to yourself, I think I'm going to see it out at Liverpool. But things in football change very quickly, and for me, in the last season under Brendan, I could feel myself becoming more of a squad player, and I didn't really know from week to week whether I was going to be in the 11. I didn't really enjoy coming off. I didn't enjoy starting on the bench. I didn't enjoy, you know, missing big games. You know, I sat on the bench against Manchester United and Real Madrid, and for me, I don't want people to remember me as a substitute. Maybe that's me being a bit selfish, but I've played for the first team for 17 years and being a key part of the team. I've been the captain since 23, and I still love my football. You know, I want to be on the pitch as much as possible, so I didn't really want to become a squad player.
Was that the real big moment though, of that decision when you were at the Bernabeu sitting on the bench?
I think it was one of them. I think even sitting on the bench against Manchester United at home was tough to take as well, and probably the reason why I was sent off within 30 seconds. I think the emotions got the better of me on the day, you know, just full of anger. Very disappointed in Brendan's team selection. But instead of being professional and parking it up and thinking about the team, I was very selfish in my performance and my actions, and that's the reason why I came out and apologised straight away. I wasn't proud of that performance at all. You know, and I think, looking back now, I think that summed up to everyone how hurt I was to be left out of the starting lineup that day. you know, it is moments and times like that when you sit at home and reflect and think, you know, maybe is a different challenge the right thing for me at 35, and I believe I've made the right decision. I think the only thing that would have kept me at Liverpool was to become a squad player with one eye on, you know, that transition into becoming a coach or part of the management staff, because, you know, I have got aspirations of eventually staying involved in the game in some capacity.
It was a crazy final game, wasn't it, against Stoke?
It wasn't crazy, it was a disaster, and that's not an understatement or going over the top. I still feel the pain from that day to day. I mean, possibly the worst performance I've ever been involved in, and it came on me last day, so I'm still disappointed with that result now.
Since you wrote your last book almost 10 years ago, how much do you think football's changed?
Yeah, I think it hasn't changed a lot. I think the game on the pitch is still the same. We're lucky to be involved in the best league in the world, in my opinion. I think what's happened is, you know, more and more owners get involved with more money, and the TV keep piling more and more money into the game. So players are moving for, you know, astronomical fees. Players are moving an awful lot more now because of the amount of money in the game. That's the only change that I've seen. But I think on the pitch, the standard's always been really high. The tempo's always good. The fans never let you down. They turn up in the numbers. For me, it's the most consistent and steady league out there.
You say if Sheikh Mansour might not have gone to City, or if Roman Abramovich hadn't have taken over at Chelsea, you might have won a league. You say there are two big reasons.
Well, there's been, you know, quite a few times we've finished above Arsenal, and there's been quite a few times we've finished above United. And when I first come into the first team, they were the benchmark. They were the two best teams in the league, and, you know, there's been times when we've performed over the 38 games and proved that we're better than them two teams. But, you know, as the years went by, Chelsea came into the equation with a multi-billionaire, and we're spending 100, 150 million every season. And then towards the end of my career, City come in with the Sheikh, and they done exactly the same, even not took it up a level. You know, and as well as that, all the other teams around in the league are getting stronger as well because of the TV money. So it is the most difficult league out there to win, for sure, especially if, you know, you go into the campaign and you're not one of the favourites to win it.
Jose Mourinho features quite a bit in my story. What can you say about the admiration and the respect that you have for one another? And it's surprising, maybe, in a way, because you've been such fierce rivals, haven't you?
Yeah, but I think we're two football people. I think if you park that rivalry aside, you know, the rivalry's done for the time being. And, you know, I've got nothing but admiration of what he's achieved, not just at Chelsea when he's been a rival, you know, at Porto when he went to Inter Milan. He's had an incredible career, and, you know, even during the rivalry, when you set up against his teams, you know, they're very difficult to play against. I think he always signs top players, and, you know, just watching Chelsea as a neutral when Liverpool are not facing them, some of the things I've seen him do for Chelsea, for Porto, for Inter, tactically to win big games is, you know, you've got to tip your hat to the man. He is one of the best out there. You know, and he's tried to sign me on 3 occasions for 3 different teams. So he has had, even though I haven't played for him or had a, you know, that close relationship with him, I think I've still felt, you know, that he rates me as a player, and even bumping into him whilst the rivalry has been going on, he's given me some good bits of advice, and you know, I'm a big fan.
How close was Real Madrid a few years ago when he was there in Spain?
I don't think it was as close as Chelsea, but, you know, the Real Madrid interest was real. They wanted me to kick up a war to get out of Liverpool for a certain amount of money, which I weren't prepared to do. I think Real Madrid, when they're after a player, they have the attitude of, you know, we're Real Madrid, you should fight to come to us. But my love for Liverpool, I'm not prepared to go to war with Liverpool. And plus, I was very happy and stable at the time and enjoying my football. You know, the message from us was, you know, we're not interested in playing it your way. If you want Liverpool to sell, make it happen, and they didn't.
Must be unique for them to have that situation.
Well, I think that's just because, you know, I'm a Liverpool fan. I feel like I belong to Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool would have deserved me to become selfish and do what many other players have done, which is, you know, refuse to train hard and spit the dummy out and do anything possible to get away. I don't think that's the right behaviour when you represent Liverpool Football Club.
Jose gave John Terry a letter to give to you, didn't he, in a charity match? What did it say in that letter?
Well, I think people will read it in the book, but I think in a nutshell, the message was, congratulations on a wonderful career. He said he had the regret that he didn't work with me on a daily basis. And just told me to be really proud of what I've achieved and to enjoy my family every day. They were the key messages that I took from it. But just for him to take the time out to write a letter that I think shows his class, and it was a nice touch at the time.
How do you reflect on your relationship with Rafa Benitez? You say in the book, ice cold is how you would describe him.
Yeah, I think so, but I think Rafa's the man who got the best form out of me throughout my career. I think Rafa helped change me from a top Premier League player into a player who was capable of doing well on the European and the world stage. I think the ice coldness and not knowing whether he respected me and loved me and wanted me, I think that distant relationship helped drive the most out of me. I think a lot of players would have went the other way and not wanted to work with him, but he used to drive me on a daily basis. And although we're not very close and we've never been very close, Rafa's certainly the best coach I've ever worked with, and I've got nothing but respect for the man.
Do you still speak to him?
No.
Really?
No.
No message when you left Liverpool?
No.
That would surprise many, because you had an amazing night together in Istanbul.
I mean, people would, you'd have to ask Rafa, that reason. I sent him a message when he left Liverpool, but he didn't send me one when I left. But it's no big problem. I mean, he's got more important things to worry about than sending me a message when I'm leaving Liverpool. But we had a very professional relationship. Tactically, he was a genius for me. I achieved the most difficult thing to win as a player for me is the Champions League. That the standard in that competition's top draw, and I managed to win it as an underdog, and Rafa played a big part in that. So, as I say, I've got nothing but respect and admiration for him as far as being a coach is concerned.